Okay, so after you complete the beginning of the application and choose the program and the campus, you'll be directed here, and this is kind of like the home page of the application. There are these four sections to the application, and the section that students have the most difficulty with is this section, academic history, which also includes the transcript entry, which you do have to manually enter. So before we get there, though, I'm going to start at the beginning of this and enter the high schools attended. So if you attended in the United States, you'll put that. You could put the zip code or the town where you attended high school, and then this drop down comes up. I have a lot of students that went to Ukiah High School, so I'm just going to select that. People generally can't remember when they started high school, but they definitely remember when they graduated. So I'm gonna pretend that I graduated in like June of 2017. Okay, so if you subtract 4, then that means you started in 2013, and that was likely in August. If you were there for the traditional 4 years, then your start date will be 4 years before your graduation date and likely begin in August. So this school was on a semester system that will vary by school, of course. All right, so if you attended more than one high school, you should list every single one here with the dates that you were in attendance. All right, and then you can select one of these. I have a diploma from Ukiah High. Then they'll want you to confirm that again, and then put your graduation date again. Okay. And then they'll ask you, are you sure that that's your graduation date? Yes, they always ask that. Okay, so continue to next section. We can add our college or university, and you have to do this before you do the transcript entry. So again, here you have to add every single college that you've attended. If you attended a college outside of the United States, I don't think you have to enter that. So I only attended Mendocino College, so that's the only one I'm going to put in here. I am planning to finish my degree this year, so I'll say yes. My degree is still in progress because I'm going to finish it in spring. And I have an associate of science for transfer, and I'll be finishing in spring, which ends in May of 2020. And my major was administration of justice at Mendocino College, but a lot of schools refer to that as criminal justice. So right here, and I didn't have a minor, and I didn't major in anything else. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Mendocino College is on a semester system. And then they ask when I attended this college. And for this, it's best to refer to your transcripts. Now, I have some transcripts right here. And even though I actually didn't start college, my regular college career until after I graduated, which was in fall of 17, I took some classes in high school. And then I actually took some classes as a really young kid, which I don't even remember. But you're not going to add the classes that you started after high school or whenever you consider your college career to have actually started, but you're going to start at the very beginning. So this goes back to fall 2005. So fall usually, okay, there's fall. It usually begins in August, and I said that was in 2005. And I'm still attending, so I'm going to check this, and I don't have to put my last semester yet. Okay, so here's Mendocino College. My very first semester, I'm still attending, semester system and degree. All right, so if you have more community colleges that you attended, then you would also add them here. All right, now for transcript entry. So as I stated in Canvas, you do want to have a transcript from admissions and records. I think this one is the easiest to read as opposed to the one that you might see in your student planning um, application that's available through my Mendo. Um, so, as I say, you can get this from admissions and records. Counselors are not really allowed to give you transcripts unless they are actively using them during an appointment, which we always do. So, if we have an appointment, we can give you one. But you can't just walk into the counseling office and get transcripts, unfortunately. So, you have to go to admissions. So, make sure you have a transcript. Um, the first thing that I do when I'm doing this application is I find out when I'm a freshman and when I became a sophomore, which I noted here. So, according to this application, and I also have put this in Canvas, you are not a sophomore until you've completed 29 units. So, I was going to reach 29 units in spring 2019. Actually, I would have reached um, 35.5 units in that semester, but I didn't have 29 when I started it. So I'm still a freshman in spring, and since I will have completed 29 units, actually this many units by the end of spring of 19, then fall 19 is when I'm officially a sophomore. So I noted that on my transcript. Um, I also have this information in Canvas, like I said, but also on this page, transcript entry, there's this transcript entry guide. And when you click on it, it opens up a new window and there's this long guide and it's actually pretty easy to read. It has a table of contents. Here's specifically the transcript entry and it's pretty good at explaining how to do this, but I'm just going to show you a few things right now. So, you have to manually enter them, so you're not going to do this. You're definitely going to do this start button for Mendocino College. And the first thing you do is you add a semester. And this transcript entry has to mimic your actual transcripts exactly. So you need to enter every semester, every class, even if it's not a transferable class, we're going to enter it exactly how we see this transcript here. So our first semester is fall of 2005. And so there's fall of 2005. And at that time, I am considered a freshman, even though I was really young. And that semester is completed. Now I can add a course. And it's best to, whoopsie, it's best to look at this, the course number here. So this is a theater class, and it should be entered exactly how it is here. So I would even do caps lock to make it consistent. And when you type it in, let's see, looks like if you don't put a space here, that might work better. Yeah, so no space between the course and the numbers. So there it is. So as soon as you see it down here, if you select it, then it will populate these other sections, but you still need to check them. So the subjects, if you want to type in the first few letters, it will take you straight to the section. So that's in the theater department. Let's double check the units. In 2005, this was actually a 1-unit class, so I'm going to correct that. And in this section, you have to pretend there's a decimal point here. So in the transcripts, they're set up with a decimal point, so you need to copy that exactly. So pretend there's a decimal point here. I'll change this to 1, and we'll keep this at 0. I got an A in that class, so after you enter your grade, you just have to click on this box and then it will just copy that same grade. And that is a transferable class. So I've also noted in Canvas that every single class that is numbered 100 all the way to 299 is transferable. Anything that falls outside of that is not transferable, and you need to make sure this box is not checked. So I'll save that. Now, since this was transferable, it was in the system. Once I selected it, it populated this section for me. I'm going to add another semester, and I'm actually going to jump to, I'm going to skip this one for now. Of course, I would add that normally, but I would like to show you this section for summer of 14. So for summer of 2014, I was still a freshman, and that's completed. I'll add a course, and really, this class, I think I've tried adding it before and decided that maybe it wouldn't let me add it. You can try to add it. It's a 0-unit class and it's not graded, so if you don't add it, I don't think it's going to hurt you very much. I want to go to this Math 11 class, so I'm going to add that here, Math 11. And as you can see, it didn't come up. It's not on the system because it is not a transferable class. So that means you need to enter it manually. So Math 11 is basic mathematics, and I'm not going to put it all in caps, but basic mathematics. And for the subject, this is math. And this was a 3-unit class, and I got a B. So 3 units, and I got a B, and then you'll select this. So it doesn't fall between 100 and 299 for this course number, so I'm going to leave this unchecked. Okay, let's see here. So how about Math 40A? This one is also not transferable. So I'm going to have to enter it manually. This is a Mathematics Laboratory A. And for this, I'll say that it's math. And this was a half unit. So I wanted to show you how to enter a half unit. This, I believe you put a 0 in. And then this, remember you have to pretend there's a decimal point. So 0.5 for a half unit to match this exactly, 0.5. Okay, and this is not graded, but I did pass, so you can put a P for pass. And then click here again, and of course don't select transfer. Now another thing on here, sometimes there's strange classes and you're not really sure what the topic is. So let's do this one now. CCS 119, Orientation to College. CCS stands for College and Career Success. So that's kind of a weird subject that might be hard to find. So for this one, it is transferable, so it populated, and it's 1.5 units, so I'm going to make sure that's correct, 1.5. For subject, this gets a little tricky. If you can't find anything, I mean, there is something in the transcript guide about choosing subjects, but sometimes you just can't find one. So you could always select special topics if you can't find anything, if you're really not sure. So CCS, I think special topics will be fine for this. And for that, I got a C. And I'm just going to make sure it's capitalized to be consistent, and good. It checked it as transferable. So that's how you do this. And of course, you are going to add the current semester that you're in. So right now we're in fall of 2019, and according to the notes I made, I am now a sophomore. And also, when you're adding up your units to determine what your academic status is, so if you're a freshman or a sophomore, you're only counting the units that are transferable. So you're only counting the things that are between 100 and 299. So that means you're not counting these two, um, you're not counting these two, and you're not counting these. You are only counting the classes that are between 100 and 299. And once you reach 29 units, that is when you are a sophomore. So I was going to enter something for fall. So for fall of 19, I'm now a sophomore, and this semester is in progress. It's not done yet, so make sure to say it's in progress. Okay, and then you can add your course, whatever it is. I'm just going to pick something. And put a grade. And oh, actually, there is no grade because it's in progress. So it actually won't even let you add anything. Of course, make sure it's transferable. You also have to add your spring semester. And you might not even know what you're taking in spring. It should be on your education plan, but since we just switched over to a new system, you might have trouble accessing your education plan. This is also a good reason to meet with a counselor because you might need to see what you're taking in spring. So you will add spring though. So you would just say spring of 20. I will be a sophomore still, and that is a planned semester. So this is where we would add the courses that are planned for your spring 2020 semester. So if you're not sure what those are, then definitely meet with a counselor because this transcript entry needs to be pretty accurate. You will be accepted or definitely considered based on this self-report. So the admissions officers are expecting it to be very accurate. So when they do receive your official transcripts, it needs to match. Okay, so that covers transcript entry.